Hello class, good Monday to you. I want to welcome you into week 3 of our group counseling class. And I wanted to start by saying I have just thoroughly enjoyed all of your conversations, our interactions, your posts on discussion board. You are really involved in the material that we are learning, and that just thrills my professor heart because I don't just want you to take this class to check a box, but I really do want to learn. So that's also why I'm going to make this video for you today, is because the topics that we had discussed this past week were ones that I think really needed some more attention, because I know you're just kind of getting in an initial group counseling class, just some basic surface kind of information, but because so many of you showed so much in-depth interest, I thought that I would give you some more knowledge. I'm going to tell you about some of my experiences that I've had in group therapy settings, whether in group therapy as a practicum student or actually leading groups. So I just think these things might help bring to the real world to you a picture of what you've been learning the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to start by talking about psychodrama. Now, psychodrama is something that I don't think gets a lot of attention. I don't know if it's really something that's commonly done. I certainly have not known therapists who do this. So I do think it's not a very used form of therapy, but I think it can be very powerful. So I'm going to tell you about experience I had when I was in my PhD program at Liberty University, which, as you know, is a Christian university. And we were taking a group therapy class. So, how to do group therapy. So this class consisted of us learning from, the instructor, but also acting like we were in a group. So we would sit in a big circle for maybe an hour every day. And we met for 1 week and did this every day. And we were actually talking about our real life issues, but we knew that we were not really having therapy per se, and our professor acted as the group leader. So what she did for us one day was let us in a biblical psychodrama. So there we are sitting in the circle. We all have our Bibles with us there at class, and she asked us to read the passage in Scripture from Numbers 13:21 to Numbers 14:10. And that's the story in Scripture where Joshua and Caleb and the 10 other spies go and scope out the land that the Lord has promised to give them. And 10 of the spies come back giving a bad report, saying there are giants in the land, will surely be demolished. And Caleb and Joshua said, well, yeah, there's a lot going on, but so what? Like, God's so big, he's going to certainly give this to us. Of course, that's my paraphrased Nancy version of that text. But anyway, so what she said to us is, I want you to read through this passage of Scripture silently to yourselves. So we did that, read the Scripture through. When we had all completed that, she said, okay, and I want you to do it again. So we all read it to ourselves silently. And of course, we know something's coming, so we're kind of taking mental note of the various things happening in that passage. And then a third time she says, I want you to read it through again. So by that time, you really have that story embedded in your mind. You're picking up on a lot of details. Then she says, now I want you to take on a character from that story. You can pick any character you want. You could be Joshua, you could be Caleb, you could be God, you could be one of the 10 spies who came back with a bad report. You could be some of the people in the audience who were listening to the reports that were being given. You can pick whoever you want. You're going to use literary license here, of course, because these things are not spelled out in detail about the conversations that were going on. But you're going to take on a character. Then she says, and I want you to get up from the circle, and I want you just to start walking around to other people in the room who are also in character. And I want you to have conversations based on your character, based on what was happening in that scene. So I was thrilled that we had been given that passage of scripture to read, because that at that time in my life, I was going through some very difficult circumstances. And so the Lord had just used that passage of scripture about his power, that no matter how big and bad things look around you, he has the ability to deliver you to whatever it is he's promised to give you. Excuse me. So I decided to be Caleb, because I had been identifying with Caleb for months already. And so when I stood up and went over to the first person that I went to, I stuck out my hand. Hi, my name's Caleb. And the other person, I don't even remember what their character was, but I said, isn't this amazing? You know, what the Lord is giving us. I'm so excited to be going to this great place. Did you see that batch of figs that we brought in that we wanted to show you all? So you could see, like, that land is truly awesome. And God is so powerful. He is going to give us what he has promised to give us. And then that person related to me, whatever character they were taking on. And then I walked over to somebody else, and one of the people that I encountered was one of the 10 spies who did not believe that God could deliver them. And so, but I was still my energetic, enthusiastic, passionate, believing Caleb. And I shared with this person, oh no, don't be afraid. You know, God's so powerful. Just trust him. And this person was like, oh, you know, I don't know. I've got kids and those giants are huge, and I just don't think I want to take my kids into that situation, because you just, you know, I got to protect them. So it was very interesting to be in that environment. And I really do believe that each of us took a character that portrayed something that was happening in our current life. So for me, it was Caleb. And other people had various other roles. Somebody even took on the role of one of the children who was in the audience listening to the response